on the night my family threw me out into the rain. My father wrote a promise on a paper napkin and pressed it into my hand. He thinks I lost it. He thinks the rain took it, the way the rain took everything else from me that night. I did not lose it. I have never lost anything in my life. I remember every word he wrote. I remember the exact slant of his handwriting, the small tear in the corner of the napkin, the smell of the restaurant we had just left, the song that was playing when he pulled the pen from his coat. I remember the precise temperature of the rain and the number of seconds his car waited at the curb before it pulled away without me. That is the thing my family never understood about me. The thing they spent 20 years treating as a strange and slightly embarrassing quirk. I do not forget anything, ever. My name is Iris Vance, and I was born with a memory that does not let go. The doctors have a name for it. They made me do tests when I was a child, gave me lists and dates, and asked me, years later, to recall them. And I always could. Perfectly. And they wrote papers about me, and my mother found it unsettling, and my father found it useful, in the way he found everything either useful or in his way. For most of my life, it was a curiosity, a party trick, the girl who remembers your birthday from when you were 9. It stopped being a party trick the night they threw me out. Let me tell you how that night ended, because it is also how everything began. I was 23. My mother had died 2 years before, and my father, Gregory Vance, chairman of Vance Holdings, had remarried within the year to a woman named Diana, who arrived with a daughter named Madeline, who was exactly my age and exactly my opposite. Where I was quiet and watchful, Madeline was warm and bright and beloved. Where I remembered everything, Madeline had a wonderful talent for forgetting anything inconvenient. That night, there had been a dinner, a company dinner, important people, my father at the head of the table, performing the role of the devoted family man. And during it, a sum of money had been discovered missing from a fund I had been managing as part of my training at the company. A large sum. And there were records, clean ones, that led to me. I had not taken it. I knew exactly where every coin of that fund was, because I knew exactly where everything was, always. That was the entire point of me, but the records said otherwise. And the records were loud, and I was quiet. My father took me outside, into the rain, away from the guests, so the scene would not touch the dinner. Edith, he said, I cannot have this at the company. You understand? There are appearances. Until this is cleared up, you cannot be associated with the Vance name. You'll go somewhere quiet. You'll have an allowance, and when it's resolved, you'll come back, and all of this will be forgotten. All of this will be forgotten. He said that to me, of all people. And then, because some small part of him perhaps still loved me, or perhaps only wanted to manage me, he took a napkin from his coat and a pen, and he wrote on it, fast, in the rain. I, Gregory Vance, promise my daughter Iris her rightful share of Vance Holdings, and her place in this family will be restored in full when her name is cleared. And he signed it, and he pressed it into my hand and closed my fingers around it and said, I keep my promises, Iris. You know I do. Then his car took him back to his guests, and I stood in the rain with a wet napkin in my fist, and I went somewhere quiet, and I waited. I waited 4 years. In 4 years, my name was never cleared, because no one ever tried to clear it. In 4 years, my allowance grew smaller and then stopped. In 4 years, my father did not call, and Diana sent one cold note. And Madeline quietly moved into the role I had been raised for, the heir, the future of Vance Holdings. And in 4 years. I learned the truth about that missing money. Slowly, patiently, from a great distance. The way you learn anything when you have nothing left but time and a mind that holds every fact you ever feed it. The money had not vanished. It had moved. And the hands that moved it, and the records that buried it under my name, belonged to people I would recognize. People I remembered. People who had counted on the one thing everyone always counts on, that the past stays buried, that memories fade, that a story once rewritten stays rewritten. They did not count on me, because 4 years later, when I finally walked back through the doors of Vance Holdings, I was not coming back as the disgraced daughter. Quiet and grateful and forgiven. I was coming back with a napkin, and with every single word every one of them had ever said to me, kept perfect and complete and waiting. Like evidence in a vault that never forgets. I walked into Vance Holdings on a Monday morning, 4 years to the week after the rain, and I watched my family's faces do something I will remember for the rest of my life, which is to say, forever. I had not announced myself. I simply appeared in the lobby, in a sharp, dark suit, at the shareholders' meeting that I had every legal right to attend, because whatever my father believed, he had never actually been able to strip me of the shares my mother left me directly. The shares that were mine and not his to give or take. That was his first mistake. He had treated me as gone. I was never gone. I had simply been quiet. Madeline saw me first. She was standing near the front of the meeting room, radiant, comfortable, the picture of the heir she had become. And when her eyes found me across the room, her champagne-colored smile froze halfway. Then my father saw me, and Diana saw me, and for one long moment, the whole room of important people kept talking, and the four of us stood in a pocket of complete silence. Iris. My father said, finally. His voice was smooth. He recovered fast. He always did. What a surprise. We weren't expecting you. No, I said, you weren't? I walked to an empty seat and sat down, and I took out a folder, and I set it on the table in front of me, and I folded my hands on top of it, and I waited. Diana crossed to me quickly, her face arranging itself into warm concern, the practiced warmth of a woman who had spent 4 years being the gracious lady of a house she stole. Iris. Sweetheart, she murmured, low. For me alone. This isn't the place. You've been through so much. I know things were hard, and I know you must be carrying a lot of pain. But causing a scene at a shareholders' meeting in front of all these people, it isn't going to help you. Let's talk privately. Let me help you. It was a good speech. Soft, reasonable, designed to make me the unstable one. The wounded girl who didn't know how to behave, so that whatever I said next could be dismissed as the bitterness of someone who'd had a hard time. I looked up at her. On the 14th of March, 4 years ago, I said, at 8:40 in the evening, you stood in the doorway of my father's study, and you said to him, and I quote you exactly, Diana, the girl is a problem. She remembers too much. As long as she's in this house, she's a liability. We need to move her somewhere she can't see what's in front of her. Diana went white. I did not raise my voice. I said, I never raise my voice. I'm simply telling you what you said. You said it at 8:40 in the evening on the 14th of March. The window was open. I was on the stairs. I remember the exact words because I remember exact words. That is the whole of what I am, Diana. So before you tell me to be quiet so you can help me, you should understand. I am not a girl carrying a lot of pain. I am a recording. And I have been recording this family for 23 years. The warmth drained out of her face entirely, and across the room, my father, who could not have heard the words, but could read a room better than anyone alive, said sharply, "Iris, my office, now." I picked up my folder, and I smiled, and I followed him, because his office was exactly where I wanted to be. My father's office had not changed in 4 years. I noted every difference anyway, because I cannot help noting. The new chair, the painting that had moved 2 inches, the photograph on his desk, which now showed Diana and Madeline, and no longer showed me, or my mother. He sat behind his desk. He did not offer me a seat. An old power move. I sat anyway. "What do you want, Iris?" He said. No performance now, just the cold negotiator I had grown up under. "You've made your point. You're upset. You feel you were treated unfairly. Tell me what it will take to make you go away quietly, and we can both move on." I set the folder on his desk and opened it. On top was a single clear plastic sleeve, and inside it, flat and dry and preserved, was a paper napkin, 4 years old, with handwriting on it that had faded but not disappeared. My father looked at it, and I watched 20 different calculations move behind his eyes. "You kept it," he said. "I keep everything." I said, "You, of all people, should have remembered that." I read it aloud, though I did not need to look at it to read it. "I, Gregory Vance, promise my daughter Iris her rightful share of Vance Holdings, and her place in this family will be restored in full when her name is cleared. Signed, Gregory Vance." I looked up. "You wrote that. In the rain." You pressed it into my hand and you said, and again I quote you exactly, "I keep my promises, Iris. You know I do." He was quiet. "So here I am," I said, "to collect my name, father, cleared, and my place, restored, in full, as promised, in writing, by you." "Your name was never cleared," he said, "because no one ever tried to clear it." I said, "The investigation you promised never happened. You know it never happened. You let it sit, unresolved, forever, because an unresolved accusation was more useful to you than either guilt or innocence. As long as it hung over me, you never had to honor this napkin." He went very still. "I know exactly how this works, Father. I watched you do it to other people for 20 years. I remember every one of them." His jaw tightened. "What do you actually want?" he said again. Lower. "I want what the napkin says," I said. "But more than that, I want you to understand something before we begin. Because we are going to begin, you and I. Whether you like it or not, I did not come back here to scream, or to cry, or to beg. Those things don't work on you. I came back because I spent 4 years learning exactly what happened to that money. Who moved it, where it went, how my name got written on it. And I remember every step of what I learned, perfectly. And I can prove all of it. And I am going to... The money is a closed matter," he said. "The money," I said, "was never missing. It was moved. And I know whose hands moved it, and it was not mine." I stood. "I'm going to give you one chance, Father, because you are my father, and because there was one night, in the rain, when I think a small part of you meant that napkin. One chance to honor what you wrote, before I stop asking and start proving." I walked to the door, at it. I turned, You said all of this would be forgotten. I said, that was your mistake. You said it to the one person in the world who can't forget anything. I remember the rain, Father. I remember the song that was playing. I remember the exact moment your car pulled away and left me standing in it. I'm going to remember all of it, out loud, until this family finally tells the truth. And I left him there, with a 4-year-old Napkin on his desk and a daughter he had thrown away, standing taller than he had ever let her stand. I need to tell you how I learned the truth, because it is the heart of why I could not be stopped. When you cannot forget, the world reveals itself to you differently. Other people live inside a fog. They remember the shape of things, the feeling of them, a rough sense of who said what. They do not remember the words, so they assume no one does. They lie casually, constantly, comfortably, rewriting yesterday to suit today, certain that the old version has faded for everyone the way it fades for them. It never faded for me. So in 4 years of exile, with nothing but time, I went back through 23 years of perfect memory, and I looked for the cracks. I remembered, for instance, a conversation I had overheard when I was 19, long before the rain, that had meant nothing to me at the time. My stepmother Diana, on the phone, in the garden, saying a name I did not know, and a number, and the phrase, "Move it through the secondary fund, the one the girl manages. No one checks her work." At 19, I had filed it away without understanding it, the way I file everything, automatically, completely. At 25, in exile, I finally understood it. The secondary fund the girl manages, that was my fund. The one the missing money had vanished from. Diana had said those words 4 years before the money ever went missing. She had been planning to use my fund as a channel before I was ever accused of emptying it. And there was more, because there is always more when you remember everything. A dozen small moments scattered across years that meant nothing alone and everything together. Madeline mentioning a sum of money she could not have known about unless she was involved. My father's lawyer, a man named Crane, making a phone call he thought was private, using a word, restructure, that I later matched to the exact date the records framing me had been created. The records had not recorded a theft. They had recorded a construction, and I remembered when each piece of it was built, because I had been present, unnoticed, quiet, recording, for all of it. The money had been moved out of the company through my fund, into accounts that fed back to Diana and I would learn, to a side venture my father did not even know about. A thing Diana and Crane the lawyer were running together, skimming from Vance Holdings for years. When a routine audit threatened to expose the whole, they had needed someone to pin it on fast, someone whose word would not be believed against the records. They chose me, the quiet daughter, the strange girl who remembered things, the one with no allies and a father who valued appearances over his own child. What they did not understand, what no one who builds a lie ever understands, is that a lie is built out of moments, and moments are exactly the thing I keep. They had rewritten the records. They had not been able to rewrite my memory. And so, 4 years later, I did not come back with the feeling that I had been wronged. I came back with a timeline, dated, sequenced, precise. Every conversation, every phone call, every careless word, held perfectly in the one vault they had never thought to rob, because they did not believe it was real. The girl remembers too much. Diana had said, she had no idea how right she was. Madeline came to find me that evening, at the hotel where I was staying, and she came alone. And she came as a friend. "Iris," she said, When I let her in, her eyes were already shining. "I have wanted to see you for 4 years. They wouldn't let me. Mother said it would upset you, that you needed space. I thought about you constantly. I missed you so much." It was beautiful. Madeline had always been the warm one, the bright one, the one everyone loved. And she had a gift I had spent my whole life watching with a kind of cold fascination. She could believe her own performance. In the moment she said she had missed me, she felt that she had missed me. That was what made her so much more dangerous than Diana. Diana lied. Madeline forgot. On purpose. And then believed the convenient version. And so every lie she told came out wrapped in real feeling. "Sit down." "Madeline, I said—" She sat, glowing with sisterly concern. "I want to help you," she said. "I do. Whatever you need. I know things look bad. With the napkin and the meeting, everyone's so tense. But I'm on your side. I've always been on your side. Just tell me what you remember, and we'll figure it out together. You can trust me." "Tell you what I remember." I repeated. "Yes," she said warmly. "So we can sort out the confusion." I almost admired it. She had been sent. Of course she had been sent. Diana had failed. My father had failed. So they sent the one weapon they had left, the beloved sister, to find out exactly how much I knew, what I could prove, where the gaps were, so they could close them. "Tell me what you remember, so we know what to destroy." 3 years ago, I said, 2 months before the money was discovered missing, "You came to my room, here in this city, before all of it. You sat on my bed, the way you're sitting now, and you said you needed to ask me something. And you asked me how the secondary fund worked, how the transfers were logged, whether anyone reviewed them. You said you were curious. You said you wanted to learn the business." Madeline's smile flickered. "I told you everything." I said, "In detail, because you were my sister and I had no reason not to." And 8 weeks later, money moved through that fund exactly the way I had explained it to you. And the records pointed at me. I looked at her. "You didn't want to learn the business, Madeline. You wanted to learn my fund. You were scouting it. For them. And then you forgot you ever did. Because forgetting is how you live with yourself." "That's not," she said. Her voice had gone thin. "That's not what happened. I never—" "Iris, you're confused. You've built something in your head. That's not— I would never—" On a Tuesday. I said, "It was raining lightly, not hard. You were wearing a green sweater. You had a coffee you'd bought downstairs. Oat milk, no sugar. And you set it on my desk and left a ring of condensation on a letter I had to throw away. You asked your question at 4:16 in the afternoon. You stayed 40 minutes. You hugged me when you left and said, 'Thank you. You're the best sister.' And you took the elevator, not the stairs." The room was silent. Madeline stared at me, and the warm certainty had drained completely out of her face, and what was left was the thing I had always suspected lived underneath it. Not malice. Something worse, in its way. A vast, frightened emptiness. The face of a person who has forgotten so much, so deliberately, for so long, that she no longer entirely knows what she has done. "Stop," she whispered. "I'm not going to stop." I said gently, "That's the thing none of you ever understood. I can't. There is no version of me that forgets. Madeline, there is no convenient story I can tell myself to feel better. I have lived every moment of this twice, the once when it happened and the forever afterward. You got to forget what you did to me. I never got to. So no, I'm not going to stop. She left without another word, and I knew she would go straight back and tell them the one true thing she had learned that night. That there were no gaps. That I remembered all of it. That there was nothing to close. Because the vault could not be robbed, the next move was mine. And I made it through the one honest person I had found in 4 years of looking. His name was Elliot Shaw, and he was a young lawyer.
Junior, sharp, with a reputation for being irritatingly principled in a profession that did not reward it. I had not chosen him by accident. I had spent a long time choosing him. I needed someone who could not be bought, because everyone around my father could be bought. And I needed someone who would believe a strange woman with a perfect memory and a 4-year-old napkin.
I laid it all out for him across 2 long evenings. Not feelings, facts. The timeline, dated and sequenced. The conversation in the garden when I was 19. The lawyer Crane's phone call. Madeline's visit. Down to the oat milk and the green sweater. The exact construction of the records that framed me. When each piece was made, and by whom. Reconstructed from 100 moments I had witnessed and held. When I finished, Elliot Shaw sat back and looked at me for a long time. "Miss Vance," he said, "in my career, I have heard a great many people tell me they remember exactly what happened. They never do. Memory is the least reliable thing in any case." He paused. "But I've been testing you for 2 evenings. The small things, dates, weather, words. I've been checking them against records where I could. And you have not been wrong once. Not once." He shook his head slowly. "I don't fully understand what you are, but I believe you. And if even half of this is provable, then you weren't a thief who got caught. You were an innocent person who got constructed." "There's one problem," I said. "Yes," he said. "Your memory isn't evidence. A court doesn't accept, 'I remember she said it,' no matter how perfectly you remember it. We need the moments you remember to point us to things that exist outside your head. Documents, accounts, the trail of the actual money. Your memory is the map. We still have to dig up the treasure." "Then let's dig." I said, and here is where my memory stopped being a party trick and became a weapon. Because I could tell Elliot Shaw exactly where to dig. I remembered the account numbers Diana had said aloud on the phone in the garden 4 years before anyone thought they mattered. I remembered the date Crane had used the word restructure, which let Elliot request the exact records created that day. I remembered the name of the side venture Madeline had let slip once. Drunk at a party 2 years ago. A name no one else would have caught or kept. Every careless word any of them had ever spoken near me became a precise coordinate. And Elliot Shaw, honest and sharp and patient, followed each one to a document that existed in the real world, outside my head, where a court could see it. It took months. The treasure was buried deep. But every place I told him to dig, there was something there. Because I had not been guessing. I had been remembering. And slowly, out of 100 perfectly recalled moments, we built the thing they had been so sure could never be built. Proof. Real proof. That the money had been moved by Diana and Crane, that Madeline had scouted my fund, that my father had let an innocent accusation hang over his own daughter for 4 years because it was convenient, and that the records that had thrown me into the rain were a construction from beginning to end. The girl remembers too much. By the time Elliot Shaw closed his last folder, she remembered enough to take the whole house down. Diana made her last attempt the week before everything came apart. And she made it the way she made everything, beautifully. She invited me to the house I grew up in, the house she had taken. She had tea set out in the garden, the same garden where, at 19, I had heard her say the words that started all of this. And I do not think she remembered that, because of course she didn't. People like Diana never remember the garden, only the tea. She was warm. She was magnificent. She told me she understood now how badly I had been hurt, that she blamed herself for not protecting me, that families make terrible mistakes in grief, and that we had all been grieving my mother. She cried, and the tears were lovely, and she reached across the table and took my hand. "Let me fix it," she said, quietly. "We'll clear your name, properly this time. We'll restore your shares. You'll have everything the Napkin promised, and more. We don't need lawyers and scandals and ugliness. We're family. Iris, let me give you what you came for, and we'll put all of this behind us, and we'll never speak of it again." It was the best offer anyone had made me in 4 years. And it was real, in the sense that she would probably have done it, because buying my silence was cheaper than surviving my proof. I let her finish. I always let people finish. Then I set down my tea. "On the 14th of March, 4 years ago," I said, "at 8:40 in the evening, you stood in my father's study and called me a liability. On the 9th of June, 3 years ago, in this garden, on the phone, you said, and I quote, 'Move it through the secondary fund, the one the girl manages. No one checks her work.' On the 2nd of November that same year, you told Crane, and again, I quote, 'If it ever comes apart, we give them the girl. She's got no one. No one will fight for her.'" Diana's hand went still on mine. "You said that last one in the hallway outside the dining room." I said, "You were wearing the gray dress. There was a vase of white lilies on the table." Crane laughed. "You did not." I leaned in. "I have every word, Diana. Every single one. For 23 years. You cannot give me what I came for, because what I came for is not my shares, and it is not the Napkin, and it is not even my name. What I came for is the truth, said out loud, by the people who buried it. And the truth is not yours to give me quietly over tea. It already belongs to me. It has belonged to me the whole time. You just didn't know I was keeping it." She withdrew her hand. The warmth was gone. What was left was the cold, sharp, frightened intelligence that had run this whole thing from the start. And for the first time, she looked at me and saw not a liability, not a quiet girl, but the one opponent she could not out-talk, because I would simply quote her until she stopped. "You're going to destroy this family," she said. "No," I said, standing. "I'm going to remember it, out loud, in a room where it counts. What that destroys is up to the people who built it." And I left her in the garden where it had all begun, with her tea going cold, and her perfect, lovely lies finally meeting the one person they could not survive. It ended in a boardroom, which felt right, because a boardroom was where they had decided 4 years earlier that I was worth less than an appearance. Elliot Shaw had built the case the proper way, the way that holds, the way my memory alone never could. The account trails, the reconstructed records, with their telltale creation dates, the side venture Diana and Crane had run, exposed now, documented, undeniable. He brought it to the people it needed to go to, the board, the auditors, and eventually the authorities who handle the kind of thing Diana and Crane had spent years doing. My memory had been the map. Elliot had dug up every piece of treasure it pointed to. And together, the map and the treasure made something no one could wave away as the bitterness of a girl who'd had a hard time. I sat at the long table in that boardroom, and I did the thing I had promised my father I would do. I said it out loud. All of it. Not in a rage, not in tears, in order, with dates. The 14th of March, the 9th of June, the 2nd of November, the Tuesday with the green sweater and the oat milk. 4 years of construction, taken apart moment by perfect moment. In a calm voice that never once had to rise, because the facts did all the rising for me. Diana's venture with Crane came apart completely. The proof was real, and it was theirs, and there was nowhere left for the tears to go. Crane, the lawyer who had made one careless call too many in front of a girl who never forgot, faced what such men face. Diana faced it beside him. The things they had done to Vance Holdings, and to me, moved out of my memory and into the daylight, and into the hands of people whose job it is to weigh such things. And the daylight did not flatter them. Madeline, I did not have to destroy. She destroyed herself. In the smaller, sadder way of someone who had spent her life forgetting on purpose and now had to remember in public. She had scouted my fund. She had carried the question to her mother. She had let me take the rein for it and forgotten she ever had. When all of it was laid out, dated, and proven, she could not retreat into the convenient version anymore, because the convenient version was gone, replaced by the true one, mine, complete. I am told she does not glow the way she used to. I am told she has finally started to remember things. I do not know if that is a kindness or a punishment. Perhaps both. And my father sat through all of it. The chairman of Vance Holdings, the man who had pressed a napkin into my hand in the rain and said he kept his promises and then kept me waiting 4 years. He did not defend Diana. He was too smart for that. And perhaps, somewhere, too tired. When it was finished, when the room had emptied, he asked to speak to me alone. You could have come to me, he said, privately. We could have handled it within the family. I did come to you. I said, in your office, with the napkin. I gave you one chance to honor what you wrote before I started proving it. You asked me what it would take to make me go away quietly. I looked at him. You don't remember that conversation the way I do. You remember it as me threatening you. I remember it as me offering you the truth, and you trying to buy your way out of it. That's the difference between us. Father, you remember what's convenient. I remember what happened. And what happened is that on the night your daughter was innocent, you chose your appearances over her. And then you wrote a promise you never intended to keep. To a girl you should have known would keep every word of it forever. He had no answer. For once in his life, the smooth negotiator had nothing. I'm not going to destroy you. I said, you're my father, and you're already standing in the wreckage of the people you let do this. And that's enough. I'm taking what the napkin promised. My name. Cleared. On the record. Permanently. My shares. My place. And then I'm going to do something you never expected. What? He said quietly. I'm going to leave, I said. On my own terms. Not in the rain. Not thrown out. I'm going to walk out the front door in the daylight with my name clean and build something of my own. Somewhere I am valued for exactly the thing this family treated as an embarrassment. And every year, on the 14th of March, I'm going to remember this. Not because I want to, because I have no choice. I never did. That was always the cruelest part. And you never once thought about it. I don't get to forget any of you. People ask me, the few who know the whole story, whether I would give it up if I could. The memory, the thing that does not let go. For most of my life, I would have said yes without hesitating. A memory that holds everything is not the gift people imagine. It holds the good moments. Yes, perfect and bright forever. But it holds all the rest, too, in exactly the same perfect detail. Every unkindness, every cold word, every night in the rain. Other people's wounds scar over and fade. Mine stay open at full depth, retrievable, complete, forever. I have never once had the mercy of forgetting a single thing that hurt me. So for most of my life, I would have given it up gladly. I would not say that anymore, because the thing that made my life heavy is also the thing that saved it. A family that lied for a living chose me as the person to lie about, precisely because I was quiet and strange and alone and easy to rewrite. They looked at the girl who remembered everything and saw a weakness, an oddity, a liability. They never once considered that the one person you must never frame is the person who cannot forget the framing. They built their whole plan on the most ordinary assumption in the world, that the past fades, that yesterday softens, that a story told often enough becomes the truth. It works on almost everyone. It is how the powerful have always rewritten the people beneath them. It did not work on me. I built my own firm. In the end, the thing I promised my father I would build, it does a particular kind of work I am uniquely, strangely suited for. People come to me when the record has been altered and they know it but cannot prove it, when they have been rewritten by someone more powerful, when they need someone who can hold the true version of events steady against a flood of convenient lies. I am very good at it. I am good at it because I am, in the most literal sense, incapable of letting the truth fade. Elliot Shaw and I work together often. He digs up the treasure, I draw the map. Between us, we have made a quiet specialty of being the thing the powerful never expect. The people who remember exactly what was said, and where, and when, and refuse to let it be unsaid. I still have the napkin. It hangs framed in my office. 4 years of rain and 20 more of dust. The faded promise my father pressed into my hand on the worst night of my life. People assume I keep it as a trophy. I don't. I keep it as a reminder of the single most important thing I know, the thing this whole story comes down to. They told me everything would be forgotten. They said it to the one person who couldn't forget. And so none of it was forgotten, and none of it ever will be. And that, in the end, is not my curse. It is the only justice a girl like me was ever going to get. I remember everything. It turned out to be enough. Thank you for listening to this story. If it stayed with you, tell me in the comments the one thing you wish you could remember perfectly, or the one thing you wish you could forget. And subscribe if you'd like to hear the next one. I'll see you there.